Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Spring ball is here. Tennessee out on the practice field Friday morning. Again, back out on the grass this morning as well. But not only is spring ball here, but the recruiting dead period is over. Tennessee had a handful of current commits, also a handful of targets in town over the weekend. Of course, headlined by five-star quarterback Tennessee commit Faison Brandon. He was here to peer recruit along with Tyreek King, Carson Sneed, Tyson Bacon, all those guys in town over the course of the weekend. A couple of visitors that Tennessee is targeting: four-star defensive lineman Damari Simeon. They offered in February, but they are one of the early teams standing out. Also, four-star athlete Joey O'Brien, Tennessee recruiting him as a safety. He's got an official visit scheduled for June the 13th, but this was big to get him back in town, back on campus for a spring practice. This is what he said about the practice that he took in on Friday morning. He said it was a fast-paced practice. He said, I can see why they have been a top team. He says practice leads to that. Practice leads to winning games, and you can tell by how they run it that they are going to win a lot of games this season as well. Now, both of those guys, Damari Simeon and Joey O'Brien, were here Friday into Saturday. Sounds like Tennessee, everything I've read, everything I've seen, Tennessee did a great job with both of those guys, trying to get an official scheduled with Simeon. Again, already got an official visit scheduled for Joey O'Brien on June the 13th. Zach Groves, a four-star edge rusher, was also here as well. But the weekend was headlined by five-star wide receiver Tristan Keys. He is also still in town, going to take in practice again today. So he is the headliner. He is the main event. Is Tennessee trending for the top-ranked wide receiver in the country? Can you get the number one quarterback in Faison Brandon and also a weapon in five-star wide receiver Tristan Keys? We're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. I need you guys to do that YouTube stuff for me. Just real quick, smash the thumbs up right down there below the video. It's quick, free, easy. It helps the channel. I would appreciate it. If it's your first time here, well, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't pretend to be that. What we are is exactly what you guys are. This channel is for the fans, by the fans. If you like it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. Right now, we're live every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing EA Sports College Football, but also every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time throughout spring camp. We'll talk about practice. We'll talk about recruiting. So join us Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But let's talk about Tristan Keys. Again, number one ranked wide receiver in the country, number 3 overall nationally as a prospect, five-star. He is a dude. He is a dude. The most recent evaluation comes from Charles Power over at On3. This evaluation was in February. Said he's a contested catch maven who looks like the top wide receiver prospect early in the 2026 cycle. I'm going to play you guys a quote here from 247 Sports talking about some of the elite NFL talent. I'm talking about first-round draft picks and where Tristan Keys fits in with that. We're going to listen to that here in just a second. Charles Power goes on to say he has good size, measuring at 6'2", 185 pounds with good length as a junior. Turned in a strong junior campaign, had 58 catches, 1,275 yards, 14 touchdowns, while leading his team to a deep playoff run. Excels in contested catch situations, elevating to come down with acrobatic grabs, hangs in the air and is able to contort his body into favorable positions. Displays a huge catch radius, high pointing the football and coming down with one-handed grabs, high-level ball tracker with the ability to locate and corral the ball over his shoulder. Shows some route running nuance, has some shake off the line of scrimmage, and is able to stack corners with his release, runs hard after the catch, able to attack all areas of the field with his well-rounded skill set. Made some big plays in contests as a junior, also a star on the 7-on-7 circuit before his junior season. Good marks in track and field in the high jump and triple jump, also plays basketball, can continue improving his top-end speed. So what type of ball player is Tristan Keys? What type of athlete is Tristan Keys? Let's go to Twitter. And this is from 247 Sports. This is Cooper Patagna. He's like they're almost like they're Charles Power. He's a scout. He knows talent. Also, Tom Lloyd, what they have to say about Tristan Keys and the type of player Tennessee could be trending for. Let's take a listen.
Tristan Keys, who is currently uncommitted.
My favorite player in the class here, and this is a guy that, can do a lot of different things, but when you turn on the tape, I just love the way that he plays the game. I mean, you're talking about the ability to change speeds, first, second level, the ability to create separation. You see the dynamic pass catching ability there as well, strong at the catch point. The temperament matches up to what you see on the field and the way this guy plays. So I love him. We got to see him in the Future 50 down there in Bradenton, Florida. You think about the receivers that have come out the last couple of years with the Corey Moore being the number one receiver in the country this past year. You go back the year before that, there's names like Jeremiah Smith, there's names like Cam Coleman and Ryan Williams. Out of all those guys in the last 2 years, Khalil Lockett, Jerome Miles, I'd have this guy at number 4. And I think that's saying
Number 4, he says he's his favorite player in the class. Then he rattles off names like Ryan Williams, like Jeremiah Smith. How many times this past year did we say, man, if we had a wide receiver like Jeremiah Smith, if we had a wide receiver like Ryan Williams, if we had a dude that can take over a ball game. And now here you have a guy that scouts talent, knows what he's talking about, says Tristan Keys right there with those guys, ranks him 4th out of that bunch of players.
A lot, because all 3 of those other guys are going to be first-round draft picks. I love the way this kid kind of conducts his business. He might not be the height, weight, speed guy that some of those other guys are, but in terms of a football player that can move the needle for his team, I expect a big impact from day one.
Tristan Keys absolutely saw himself committing at this point. He thought he'd be done with the process, but he has been on this rocket ship that we've talked about with a couple of these other guys. But he's going to take 6 officials. You got Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Miami, Texas A&M. He'll probably get to Mississippi State. He'll probably get to Ole Miss. My crystal ball remains in favor of the Volunteers. I do like Tennessee to get this one done. I just heard too much positive buzz. But the time we spoke this offseason after a junior day at Alabama, he took a trip to Tuscaloosa, connected with Keelan Russell, one of our favorites from last cycle. Alabama is absolutely surging in this one, but I still slightly like Tennessee right now.
Still like Tennessee, leaving the crystal ball prediction with Tennessee. Now, all the buzz is, originally they thought it was going to be over by now, but you're the number 1 ranked wide receiver in the country. You're going to go through the process. There is a little talk about Alabama now. Why is that? Well, it's because he took that junior day trip to Alabama, so they got a little buzz around them, but it sounds like Tennessee is right up there at the top, maybe Alabama chasing, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas A&M, Michigan, all involved here. He took January visits to Auburn and Alabama, and then he comes to Tennessee this past weekend, still here, going to take in practice this morning, going to take a trip to LSU on the 18th, Texas A&M on the 29th, Michigan on April the 5th. Great relationship with Faison Brandon. And again, Faison Brandon was in town over the weekend spending time with Tristan Keys. He got into town on Saturday, took in the basketball win over South Carolina. After that game, man, this is when we talk about everything school and the environment and the electricity on campus. He said after the basketball game, he said it was good. The trip here was good. The boys caught a dub, and at the game was great. He said the day started off great. I'm ready to see what happens in the future. And then talking about the atmosphere in Thompson Bowling, said it gets loud in there. That's what you want as an athlete, a supportive crowd. You want somebody, when you score a touchdown, it gets loud. So just having that fan base behind you, knowing that they are with you, whether you win or whether you lose, it's kind of like something you want as a receiver. Again, going to take in practice this morning. Now, Matt Ray of VolQuest was over at On3 YouTube channel with Josh Newberg. This is kind of a summary of what they talked about with Tristan Keys and his visit. They talked about how he originally wanted this decision out of the way, but when you're the number 1 wide receiver in the country, you're going to let things play out. Did say Tennessee considered to be the front runner, been to campus twice within 4 weeks, which is huge. Talked about how their relationship continues to grow. Mentioned the relationship with Faison Brandon. So the next step in the process is going to be those official visits in June. You heard Tom Lloyd talking about that there in that clip. Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Miami, Texas A&M. Is he going to visit the in-state schools? That is something to keep your eye on. Will he take the visit to Ole Miss? Will he take a visit to Mississippi State? You got to go in and take the top-ranked player in the state of Mississippi out of the state. You got to take the number 1 wide receiver in the country out of the state, number 3 overall player in the country. How big would that be for this class? Again, we've already got a 5-star quarterback in the boat in Faison Brandon. You add a guy like Tristan Keys, the number 1 wide receiver in the country, a guy that you heard Cooper Patagna comparing to Jeremiah Smith, to Ryan Williams. What type of impact does that make in this offense? I've said time and time and time again, I'm riding with Nico. I'm rolling with Nico. I hope this team goes out and plays ball this fall. I'm excited to see what they can do in the 2025 season. But I think this class of 2026 could end up being something special. Josh Heupel continues to trend up in recruiting. Can he continue to put on more steam in this class of 2026? What are your thoughts? Is the top-ranked wide receiver in the country trending to Tennessee? Because it certainly feels that way to me. Jump in the comment section. Let's talk about it. As always, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. I would appreciate it. If you want to support, you can go to the bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS and pick up Talkin VAWLS merch. There is also a link in the description for that. You can hit the join button down below. Become a member of this channel. It's just $1 a month. You keep the lights on. You keep this thing moving forward for just $1. Hit that join button. You get a power tee beside your name in the chat and the comments, custom Talkin Balls emojis, access to fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin Balls Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.